So what is autism? Firstly, autism is listed as a disability and it can be debilitating, but I prefer to list autism as a neurotype as opposed to a disability because it is really like a totally different way of how your brain operates than a neurotypical person. So some things that autism can affect, because it is a spectrum, right? Autism can affect all these areas in different ways for each person. No two autistic people are really the same. But when you are autistic, it is a lot easier to understand other autistic people just because we have the same operating system. So some things that autism affects are it might affect the ability to read social cues and communicate with other people. It can lead to repetitive and restrictive behaviors, which quite often can be disruptive in your day-to-day life. Sensory issues. A big one is sensory issues. So imagine if any of your senses was, let's say the level that anyone's sense should be at for a typical person is 4. Many autistics have dials set to max for all of their sensory inputs, or they can be all over the board for all the different senses. Some might be set to being really high, some might be really low. So for instance, I have a really hard time with sound inputs, but I don't feel pain. So I can have, like this tattoo, I went to sleep many times while I did sittings for this tattoo, but if too many people are talking around me, that actually registers as pain to me. So sensory issues is a huge one. And then executive functioning is a big area that affects people with autism quite often. So I'll cover these things in a little bit more detail in future videos.